Your partner doesn't look at you the same anymore. The spark is gone, the desire dead. You're sleeping next to a stranger, and the pills that were supposed to help only drove you further apart. That's the SSRI gaslit truth nobody wants to talk about. We are your whistleblowing shrinks, Dr. Tara Lynn and therapist Jen, and this is the Gaslit Truth Podcast. Before we rip this wide open, hit like, smash, subscribe, and if you're on YouTube, ring that bell so you don't miss a thing.
And for those of you listening, just remember that this podcast is not Dr. Terry and I's only hustle. We are also deprescribers. And what that means is we help get people off psychiatric medication safely for the brain and the body. So if that's something that you are considering doing, please make sure that you reach out, send us an email at thegaslittruthpodcast@gmail.com. And Dr. Terry and I will get you hooked up with some deprescribing.
Our guest today knows firsthand how SSRIs can impact a relationship, stealing intimacy, killing connection, and leaving him watching the partner he loved fade behind a prescription. He's here to tell that gut-wrenching story from the spouse's perspective. He's Cliff Yates, host of the Cliff Yates Show podcast, a 35-year veteran of the LA County Sheriff's Department, and a stand-up comic known as LA's Comedy Cop. Welcome to the show, Cliff.
I'm so glad to be with you guys. Thanks for all you do. I'm so glad I found you. And Dr. Tara Lynn, I love everything you do. And then therapist Jen, your interview with Dr. Joseph, I think, wow, this young lady is so energetic and positive and so willing to tell your story. And you were so authentic. It was just, everything hit home to me, especially the Lexapro deal, because my wife was on it. And to be an expert, I don't want to say I'm an expert, but I've been studying this for the past 5 months. Like, I think I put 100 hours in. And when I share out this information, a lot that I've learned from you, I mean, people are just astounded. The public does not know what's going on with these SSRIs. And I remember when I used to have to struggle, what does that mean? Now I know it's selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. I know that so well. It's kind of crazy.
It's burned into your cornea.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for the compliment. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and you didn't say young lady in front of me, so I'm a little...
I didn't? I'm sorry.
No.
You young ladies.
I love it.
Sorry.
I love it. Keep it up, Cliff. Keep it up.
Oh, my goodness. I have to tell you guys, I went through I was in despair over this turn of events, probably for about 3 months. And then I realized from studying and learning you guys, hey, listen, we're supposed to feel the full range of our emotions. And that's what these SSRIs do, is they blunt you so that people aren't feeling that. So I said, well, I'm supposed to be feeling this despair because it's a life event, episodic, and I'll get through it. And so I don't know. It helps me to talk about it with people.
Well, tell us your story, Cliff. Why don't you tell us a little bit of backstory on why you're here and what had occurred with your wife?
Yeah, we've been together 30 years, and we've been Team Yates for 30 years. And I don't want to start crying. And I love my wife so much, and we've been so happy. I mean, you probably heard this story before because I know there's so many similar stories, but so happy doing things together. She likes to exercise, work out, me too. She likes Broadway shows in New York, me too. So we go to New York once a year during Christmas, and we share all these memories. And 3 stepsons I have that are her kids, who are now, during this time, they've all rallied around me and shown such love, and they've become my greatest support. But everything, I didn't even realize until she did one of my episodes that she had been on antidepressants for 8 years.
You didn't know? You didn't know she was on
Well,
this?
I did know that she was on them, but I didn't know it's been 8 years.
Oh. Yeah.
And I never felt any negative things. She's always been very energetic and upbeat. And I want to ask you about this because when I looked at the episode, she took Prozac, Wellbutrin, Lexapro, and now she's on Trintellix. But as opposed to other side effects, she's been mania. So last year, I brought that up to her. I said, honey, it's a little bit manic. And she didn't understand it. She goes, you're saying I'm a maniac? And I go, no, you're a little bit, it's
too energetic.
You're really elevated.
And you're really focused on, you bear in on something and you just keep bop, 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 bop. And she goes, well, talk to my psychiatrist, So I talked to him and he says, well, we can try cutting it down in half. And then we did. And then we were at our summer place in 1,000 Islands. She goes, I'm getting depressed again, Cliff. I got to get back on it, not really realizing at the time it was probably withdrawal symptoms. But of course, everybody, they say it's a relapse when it's probably just withdrawal. But I didn't have the education at the time.
Yeah.
So I said, of course, you get back on them. I got to do it because it takes 4 to 6 weeks to kick in. And now I'm learning from one of the other.
Yeah, it happened pretty quick, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So then last September, she changed medicines, and then things started to change. And then we went on a 15-day cruise, and I went on all the excursions, and we had a group with us. So I checked to make sure I wasn't going crazy. And then I went to 3 of the shows, and I went to trivia night 5 nights out of the 15. And then one night I did spend in reading. And so we're with my mom in New York, and Alba's recanting the cruise. And she goes, oh, yeah, Cliff ruined the whole trip. He never left the cabin. They never left the cabin. And then I ended up talking to one of her best friends who's now partnered with me on this. And I remember her saying to me, Cliff, we're going to go on another cruise and we'll get you out of that cabin. I'm thinking, is she telling people I never left the cabin?
She's rewriting history.
Yes. And then she did agree, but I think she was already doing walk away wife kind of thing. She did agree, and she arranged for a therapist online. And so then she says, and then he gets mad at me and he calls me the C word. I don't even want to say it, right? And so the therapist goes, Cliff, names are off the table. And I go, oh, no, I agree. But the last time I said that word, it was 37 years ago. I haven't said it since. And the therapist told Alba, we kind of have to move forward. So, I mean, she was going back.
Yeah.
But have you experienced the mania? She's very manic. I mean.
Oh yeah. Well, a lot of times what happens is somebody will become manic from the medication, and then what the prescriber says is, well, this is just bringing out the bipolar disorder that you was underlying, which is all bullshit.
Yeah,
it's all
I was
bullshit.
actually just telling a guest recently we had on. I am shocked that I was never diagnosed with bipolar disorder as well.
Yes,
it blows my mind because I could tick every box for mania or hypomania easily. So yes, I think it's very very common. And it's almost
don't accept a diagnosis of bipolar if you're on psych meds, and that's what caused mania.
Yeah, and there's memory lapse issues that are happening. Like there's paranoia, there's legitimate like perceptual things are changing. So your perception of reality is not as is because the capacity to view and see those things changes from these medications. The other thing too, as you said this, and I think it's important for our listeners, is it is very important when we differentiate between this is withdrawal and it's not it's manifesting the original disorder. It's actually not. It's withdrawal. We know that because as soon as she goes back on the meds or goes up, pretty quickly that shit kind of it starts to go away a little bit, and that's how
I'm going to bring in something else, Jen. Here, how many medications was she on?
That's where
different
I was going.
meds.
Well,
yeah,
I got
that's where I was going.
Different. Wellbutrin. Lexapro, now Trintellix.
She's been withdrawing since the Wellbutrin.
I say wherever this timeline started, that's where the withdrawal started. And
every time you switch a med.
Every time
when you switch the withdrawal from the other one?
Oh, sure.
Oh my God. Another thing she bought into, I know this is, now I learned, right?
Yes.
Cliff, you have regular sadness. I've got clinical depression.
Oh, right.
Here we go. Label.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and then when I learned, oh my gosh, she bought into that whole thing. And then,
does she realize that she's bought into some of this, or is this just your awakening? Okay.
No, because unfortunately, when she did go off, we went back to our beautiful beach home, and she goes, Cliff, I have everything to be thankful for, my kids, you, a wonderful husband. We're on the beach, our dream home, and I'm still feel like I'm in a pit. And I go, listen, let's try. We can walk on the beach. We're going to exercise. We got your diet worked out. We can do that. So then we did that. But then she just wanted to stay in and be on the couch all day. But when I would come home, oh, hi, hon. How was your workout? Very friendly. No mania. Now, unfortunately, during a fight, and we hardly ever fought, I said, and it was wrong to say, I'm very authentic about this, but I said, I liked it better when you were depressed. So any effort for me to bring up medication, she's going to think I'm trying to get between her and her medication. I mean, her own kids have rallied and contacted her. Mom, this version of you, you've built a beautiful life for 30 years. And before you do something permanent, please, would you explore your therapist and everything else before you know, this is not the version of mom we've had. And she said, I'm the happiest I've ever been. You know, I don't get involved in your marriage. Don't get involved in mine. And it's just, I mean, it's just so sad. And then, so they're all like, they can't believe some of these. Now they tell me, Cliff, she's always made some of these bad choices over the past 8 years. You just kind of go along to get along with it.
Sometimes.
So,
yeah.
Sure.
And we
Absolutely.
change as people, you know, you've been together for 30 years. Of course, there's changes. What you're describing, though, and I don't know if you've ever looked into the work of Peter Bregan and being spellbound.
yes.
This is exactly what Cliff is describing, is exactly the example of watching a loved one who is spellbound by a medication and not being able to cut through the spellbinding, because we've been told so many things to be the reality. And so when you are trapped inside of that, it's very hard to get out. From a spouse perspective, what is your experience like? What does this all mean to Cliff?
It's just heartbreaking. Because I didn't want, and it was kind of a back and forth, right? It was so, I mean, you've probably heard this before. I tell people, you know, Alba filed for divorce. What? No, not you guys. You guys are the power couple. You guys, no, you're always No. Alba loves you. She went to all your comedy shows and sat through for years. No, I'm going to talk to her. No, you can't talk to her. You can't. What? I mean, person after person, you know, so it's just been hell because I never, as a matter of fact, you know, this is another mistake I made a couple times. I actually brought that into the argument. Like I said, I want a divorce, and during a heated argument, which I didn't mean, and took it back. But sometimes the mania, and I didn't even know it was that for a while. You know, it can be like simple as, why are you going to park here? Move over there. Don't park there. What if a lady comes out? You don't want to park here. Park over there. Do you know how to drive the car? And it's just a bop, 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 you know, and it's like, oh my God, please let me drive a car. You're controlling, you know. And then, you know, you yelled at me in front of my kid, and then this kind of thing. But I want to ask you something else that's really strange. And you brought it up too in your interview, Jen. So, you know, obviously the sexual libido is low. And so my wife's been always the best wife in the world and never denied me, or, you know, if there's loving to be had, she's, you know, oh, that's okay, no problem, you know. And so then all of a sudden, when this change started to happen, and we're talking to the therapist, I don't, can I swear? I don't, F-bomb to say,
yeah.
No.
So my wife very rarely swears. We go to the same church. Guys, we're talking to the therapist, and she goes, well, I talk to my friends. Look at my body. Any man would want to fuck me every day. He wants it once a week. And I'm thinking, I talk to my friends who've been together 30 years. Once a week seems normal to me, you know. And so this became, I did find in the drawer some hormone application, vaginal application, because this did not make sense to me, this aggression. She came home one day, right? Says, take your pants down right now. You're going to fuck me right now. I go, well, yeah, of course. So then
That's mania.
She takes me to her doctor and humiliates me. And I didn't fight back at the time, but I was thinking later. She takes me to her doctor. Look at him, doctor. I married him at 190. Now he's 155. I didn't sign up for this. I'm not attracted to that. And the doctor's looking at me and he's like, well, I mean, he's well muscled.
Trying to, doctor's trying to help you out here. Like,
he's not really underweight, but we can kind of have a plan to gain some weight. I mean, it was.
My question is, why is that okay? But you can't bring up, you know, since taking these medications, you've changed. But it's okay. It's okay for her to bring that in, that, you know, her brain is so kind of off kilter a little bit that she can bring you in as if you're the problem. And this is the interesting part, because Cliff, I'm going to bring this in because I was the medicated spouse. I was the medicated spouse. Okay. And I did the same shit. Oh, by the way. Okay. I did the same things, like everything, nothing was my fault or my problem. It was all my husband's. It was him. If only he would change, if only he would do something different. I had little attraction to him during that time. but I blamed him for every little thing.
Yeah.
And if he were to bring it up to me, I'd be like, see, again, you're being critical towards me. Like
Yeah.
the interpretation was always against me. But I could bring up his shortcomings in my perceived world, right? His shortcomings were fair game, but mine weren't. Absolutely not. Are you kidding me? Don't bring up my I'm working on myself.
Yes.
I'm medicated. I'm doing these things, right? You're not. You're not trying, right?
Right.
Mhm.
We have a summer place in 1,000 Islands. So when I left, that's when she laid this on me. And she said, and I go, listen, honey, the spirit in me tells me to fight for this marriage. And she goes, well, you should. You should. Okay, this is
By
great.
yourself, you're going to fight alone.
Yeah. So then on the way up to the thing, she's going, no marriage. I don't want to be married anymore. Wait. Well, honey, let's go to the church counselor and we'll talk and get counseling. No, she goes, let's talk about dividing assets. Wait. So then 2 days later, she sends me pictures because she had gone back and forth about selling the condo and going to her house. She sends me pictures on the wall of our wedding. She goes, I put our marriage pictures back on the wall. I thought it was time. We're still Team Yates. Oh, honey, that is so good, honey. Oh, that's so good. 3 days later, no, I don't want to be married anymore. And they go, well, what about together? We're Team Yates. I didn't want you to be sad. That's why I did that.
How easily that could be like a bipolar symptom,
yes.
right? Like when you're
yes.
talking about like the impulsivity, the hyperfixation, then it
By the way,
quiets down.
Also I think about a borderline, right? So like, I love you, I hate you, but please don't leave me, but get back here, get out of my life. That kind of, all of that too could have also been misinterpreted in that way.
Right. And so you've got like clinicians in the background going, oh, that's borderline personality disorder. Oh, that's bipolar disorder. Oh, that like, and here it all really truly
Medication.
can stem from the SSRI use. And there was repeated SSRIs, right, in the history.
Now, if I thought this was a marriage problem, but January, she goes, visits my middle stepson. And now she's yelling at his wife. You know what? You don't keep a good house. Look at the way you treat these kids. This is borderline child abuse. My stepson had to take her outside. Listen, you're bullying us, and you can't stay here if you're going to be that way. So it's not just a marriage thing. It's these relationships. Her business partner fell out. That's why I'm in the townhome now that we both own. I just moved over here. That's why I'm not in my regular studio. And then she comes to the 1,000 Islands in July. And because she had planned a birthday party for my mom, who's turning 90, and she paid for all the kids and the grandkids to come. And I'm like, why are you coming forward with, you want a divorce, but you're coming to the island to spend. And so, and then I said, well, I'm going to use it as an opportunity for proximity. And my mom's like, why is she doing this? She never even asked me who I wanted to invite. I don't want it the damn party anyways. So she spent 2 weeks. And I had heard something a friend said. So I just showed love to her no matter what. She had trouble with the kids, because they don't like the situation. So I just was supporting no matter what. I said, hey, listen, whatever's going on, I'm your husband today. So I love you and I'm here to support you. Well, but you need to get a lawyer and protect yourself. Okay. And so there was never a confrontation. And then I even took her to the airport ahead of time because she got frustrated. And then I hugged her at the airport. She talked the whole way to me. Just because I hug you goodbye doesn't mean there's any chance of us getting back together. Of course not. Of course. And then my friend calls me 2 days later. Cliff, I think there's a breakthrough. Our mutual friend. I just called her. She's at the airport. She's in the lounge weeping and crying. And I said, Albert, you're doing the wrong thing. You're walking away from this marriage. Why are you doing this? You're making the wrong decision. Yes, I know. You're right. You're right. And then she gets back to Florida. And me and the stepson arrived 2 days later. She's not in the condo. She's at a hotel. I'm in a hotel down the street because I don't know. You've been acting a little crazy because of your postings. I posted some pictures through the years of me and her together. So we just spent 2 weeks together. And then she's down the street now because I guess she didn't want to be with me. And I mean, I could dump so much on you, but it's just.
Well, I'm also thinking about so the group that we noticed you in was, I think it was
Yes.
the marriages ruined by
Destroyed by
SSRIs or something.
SSRI and
Yeah,
antidepressants.
destroyed by
That's
SSRIs.
how I
So,
found you guys. Yeah.
yes. So I would encourage anybody to, if you're in this, go to
Please.
that Facebook website or Facebook group. It's a good
Mhm.
one. But there's also some posts on there. This is what it makes me believe. Like some people are like, well, but your marriage was already in peril.
No,
Like,
not at all.
do you follow what I'm saying? Like, there's people that write that in there when spouses go
Yes,
on and
I've
they're
seen
so
that.
much
Yeah.
in pain, and then it is what, well, you're just not taking your own inventory. You're just not looking at it. You're not. This is why this is happening, because you haven't acknowledged her pain in 30 years. And you're like, but there wasn't pain to acknowledge, at least
Yeah,
that
it's
you
everything
knew.
but the drug, right?
Everything
you-
but
so-
the
Everything but
drug.
the drug.
Because this
So-
is one of those things. The drug is good, right? It's
Yes.
because the drug is treatment. How dare you resist the treatment?
That's right.
Right?
You take
Mhm.
Excedrin for your headaches, Cliff. This is just, I have a condition. I'm taking medicine for.
Yeah.
My friend told me, why suffer? There's medicine for that, Alba. And she's right. And as soon as I took it, it's like the sun came out. And
What, Cliff, if I can ask,
Please,
do you
anything.
know were you there with her the very first time she started taking one of these antidepressants, whichever one came first? Were you part of her life during that time?
Yeah, 2017. We've been together since 95. Yeah.
Okay, 2017. What was going on that she
Uh,
started taking an antidepressant?
Menopausal depression, she said it was. 'Cause yeah.
Menopause, hormonal
Yes.
issues. Oh,
For 30 years,
yes.
she's had menopause. Yeah, so yeah.
No, but I mean, do you know how many women are medicated for psych meds for menopause?
It's very common.
Crazy.
So I told you the history of the week spending the summer together. So never an argument, even since May, nothing. Right. You know what? That makes me cry is to think I see February, Valentine's Day. She's posting a picture. This is why I love my husband. He's so supportive. And I have this. So all this went on to the island, all supportive. And then the mutual girlfriend, her best friend, calls her and says, Cliff, no, Alba, Cliff's being very reasonable. Reasonable? You don't know that son of a bitch. He's a narcissist. And she hung up on her.
Oh.
Who's feeding her this narcissist?
Well, you have to be. You were a part of the sheriff's department, Cliff.
And so wasn't she? Yeah,
Oh,
was
she
a deputy.
was.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, that whole narcissist thing is a whole different episode, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just
Yeah.
it's very again, perception of reality really
So
shifts and changes. These psychiatric medications, there's a lot of like bigger names of individuals out there, like Laura Delano, for example.
Oh, I loved her
And
episode. Yeah.
in
Oh my
her
God.
in her book and in the episodes that she puts out, she talks about like the
Yeah.
actual innate personality, the person changing.
Yes.
And what you're describing is very, I think, indicative, is a great example, right, of what that is, and putting examples into those words where the actual spirit of her and who she was
Yes. I
and
feel like,
how she sees the world. It changes how you see the world. Like, not only are you losing higher order thinking and like crisp cognitive functioning, but you're also changing how hormones are regulated in the body. You're changing gray matter in the brain. We're changing how the hippocampus and the amygdala, our emotion
Yes.
centers, are working. And so you mix all of this cocktail up and you have somebody who starts to question their reality all the time and is perceiving reality in a very distorted fashion.
Hold on. I don't think there's any questioning of reality. I think other people question their reality. I never question my own reality.
Oh, the patient themselves. Yeah. No, I didn't either. Oh my goodness.
yeah.
No. Oh, I
No,
never. My reality was my reality. If I thought
Yeah.
that my husband was doing something wrong, he was doing something wrong. If
my
I
wife,
thought,
my wife, so never lied a day in her life. There's never trust issues. Never. People would tell Alba, oh, your husband lets you travel? Of course, because I only like to travel. I said, I'll go on 2 to 3 long trips a year because he lied to me. He told me 30 years ago he would travel the world with me. Now he doesn't want to travel. And I go, wait, no, I want to travel. But, since January, you went to Brazil, Machu Picchu, Indonesia, and now you're in Colombia. I don't want to go on a plane every 2 months. You'd be happy just sitting here on the beach. Well, I mean, I do like our beach home. I mean, we work to get that.
Yeah.
So
I do like it here.
she never lied. And you guys, you can't believe this. My stepson, the youngest one, who doesn't like to get involved, he goes, Cliff, Did you know mom put one of the rooms in the beach house on Airbnb? We're worried about her safety. No, she can't do that. I called my realtor. She can't. No. So I found it. Stay with Elva, $300 for the night. So I took a screenshot and I sent it to her. And I said, hon, you cannot put one of our rooms up for Airbnb without my permission. And it's against the HOA. You just can't do that. And she sends back, I didn't. I go, I sent you the screenshot of the listing. Oh, it was just a thought. Well, it's more than a thought. It's on the website. I just took it down. She never lied a day in her life. I can't, but it's just terrible. I mean,
but this is there was research on this, on the impulsivity and all of that type of thing, like just a change in behavior, a change in how you
yes.
think. There's research on this. And so even again, I go back to that Facebook group, the amount of affairs and the amount of that type of thing that happens within the relationships of the person who's medicated, they would normally not do any of those things if they were
Yeah.
not medicated. Not saying that Alba's doing that, but I'm just
Well,
saying
I suspect that, but there's been no evidence. Family tells me no. I pushed her on it. My best friend jumped out of no, I wouldn't because I'm married. I haven't seen evidence from neighbors or anything else, but it just doesn't make sense. So now I suspect it because she's not grieving this relationship at all.
Yeah,
I mean,
she can't. She actually
she
can't.
can't.
Like,
oh, okay, okay.
yeah. So you're right. You're right when you're saying I don't see that happening. Right? It's
Right.
because she
Because
can't.
she's
I mean,
not. Mhm.
I really do firmly believe that like all the grief that happens has to occur when you're
Later.
not medicated. When you
Yeah.
Oh,
get
when
that
you're not
shit out of your
medicated, yeah.
body, you have to go back and you're gonna have to figure out what that looks and feels like because you actually can't get to some of those true emotional states. The brain does not let the body actually get there. So you
Right.
see this like emotional coldness, right? Or you see
Yes.
like the
Totally
average person
detached.
is they're gonna have tears, they're gonna have sadness, they're gonna
Yes.
want to talk through this, they're gonna be confused, they're gonna be bargaining with God, they're gonna be wanting to change the like that's your average like person and what they would do. When you're medicated, you can't actually feel that. You can't go there. It's
There was
impossible.
there was 2 things for me. I'm kind of thinking back. 2 things. I did ask my husband for a divorce. Thankfully he said no. Like thankfully that wasn't a thing. Um, but I remember thinking that that would solve all my problems. I wasn't sad about it. I wasn't anything. I was like, I just need to be alone. That's what I felt like. I needed to be alone. And because I was like so disgruntled, so like, ugh, like gross. Like I was just like, and now I think like isolating, like the only way that I could isolate and be by my gross self was to get rid of him, like to separate myself from him and, the kids and everything I know. I just wanted to be alone. And the divorce was kind of a relief that nobody had to pressure me anymore, right? I didn't have to be
Yeah.
pressured by this relationship or anything else. I could just be my miserable self
Yeah,
by myself.
I took her to a date night before I left. She agreed to it. And so then I found like papers, like finances. And I go, hey, listen, don't file for divorce. We've been together 30 years. We can work together. We could go to mediation. We can do that.
Mhm.
And she goes, you know what? You're right. We've been together 30 years.
Yeah.
We can do that. So we're too close. Okay. But let's not. And then on the way out, she goes, but you know what? You're going to find, you're a wonderful person. You got the comedy. You're wonderful.
Yeah.
You're going to find somebody. No, but I don't want that. I want to stay married. I understand, but you got to move on. And so then a few days later, she filed for divorce. And so here she said she wasn't going to file for divorce. Then she filed for divorce. And so, yeah, I forgot I was going somewhere else too, that what she did.
Well, thankfully, I had no idea how to file for a divorce. This was way back in the time where you couldn't do it online.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it was a little bit more sticky during that time.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Cliff, tell us a little bit about just for you, how are you surviving this?
It was really tough. So I got to stay. I'm at our island place. All I see is our marriage pictures.
Yeah.
Every memory. I see every memory in this island. She made this island home. Everything hers has got her name on it, everything else. And now she's totally detached from those memories. While she was out there, she slept in that bed. I thought she's going to see all her decorations. And no, it means nothing. So I got up there in May, so I was kind of stuck in the cottage alone. And so I was in really bad despair just because I get very emotional. That was part of her blunting because we'd be watching a movie and I'd be crying. She goes, "Oh, you're crying during this. I can't even cry." Of course not, because you blunted emotionally,
Yep.
I didn't know at the time, but yeah. So,
That's
oh
a
my
thing.
God, I just been, we go to the same church and, my friend says, "Cliff, I don't know how I can keep her on as a volunteer. I mean, she waves her arms and she's worshiping and then she's going through the divorce. It's not, I don't know. How does that
things don't
fit?
line up.
They don't line up at all. So,
Yep.
oh my God, I've been having a lot of trouble. I've been doing a lot better lately. But still, when you're still in love with that person, you haven't changed. Nothing has happened. People used to say, "You guys don't even fight," or, people are like pushed back. If you guys get divorced, what about us?
Yeah.
So, oh my goodness, I just have nowhere to go now except for, of course, I hope and I pray, and then I almost hope for, like for to hit rock bottom and want to get off the medicine. That's really what I hope for. So when my friend calls her and she's in these crying things, I go, well, maybe she's going to realize she's got to get off this medication.
As long as she has a willing prescriber that'll
Yeah,
keep
it's not going to happen.
testing her out. Right. Exactly. Unless she wakes up on her own, right, Jen? Like
Yeah.
I feel like as long as there's a prescriber going, well, we can fix this with this or that or whatever, it's going to be tough, So
Yeah, she loves this psychiatrist. Oh, I got a great psychiatrist now. She's Latina like me, and then we talk, and then you know what? Then I hear about her family. By the time the time's up, she goes, "Oh, we didn't even talk about you," and then we take 5 minutes to talk about me. But oh my God, we laugh and have a good time.
It's like it's like a dope dealer, right? I mean,
Yes.
you've got such a great relationship with that
Yeah,
drug
good
dealer,
guy.
and they're a good guy. They're gonna keep dealing,
Mhm.
even though
But I
that
ask you,
that yeah, that
I
dealer
want to
has
ask you
no
guys,
idea.
her best friend, who's now she's been lying to, and that's her only true friend, and then she's been yelling at her and hanging up on her. I mean, we want to do a podcast today. We not today, but in the future, we're talking about a nation over medicated or something like that. I want to join this fight. What can I do? Because I got to get involved in this. People don't even know anything about these SSRIs, and you guys know, right? I start relating to people like a gal that's on the next island over. Well, Cliff, I'm on antidepressants too. Oh, okay. Everybody to talk to is
1 in
know.
5 women
Yeah.
are on
Yeah.
antidepressants.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
probably 1 in 4 now.
now they
It's
say it's 1
probably,
in 3 over age 60.
yeah, you're
Oh,
a good
yeah.
75%. You put 10 people in a room, there's 7 to 8 of them will be medicated. Yeah.
And you wonder why things like, they call it silver divorce is on the rise. So divorce over the age of 50, 55
Mhm.
is on the rise. Well, also the group of people, men and women alike, that are medicated is also on the rise in that age category. So you got a
Yes.
couple numbed out people, on these medications, and they're wanting a divorce because they can't feel anything anymore, right?
Her,
And it's the
her,
other person's fault.
her friend
Mhm.
was telling her, Cliff lets you do anything you want. You guys have, why would you, why would you leave that? You're going to find somebody who's going to give you
Yes.
this freedom. And there's not, you guys,
Yeah.
oh my, it's just, but of course,
Mhm.
I heard Kim's story and I thought, well, I don't have that anyways, but I mean, what the
Yeah.
hell, but I mean,
So
you know what? It would have bothered me, guys, because my podcast is motivation, inspiration, positivity. Alvin and I both went to Tony Robbins. So despair and feeling depressed is not my identity. So to
No, you're a
sit with it,
comedian, Cliff.
yeah,
You're
it
yeah,
just
you've
kills.
you've got resiliency factors built into your blood, so they're gonna save you.
I
That
hope so,
shit
yeah.
will save
Thank
you.
you.
Like when you go back to those things,
Yes.
because that's the ability to be lighthearted and to bring some lightheartedness to a shit circumstance.
Yes.
You're kind of an expert in that.
Yeah. Okay.
Like,
I love you
really, if you
guys. I
think
love you
about
guys.
it, like,
Damn it.
like, I mean, really, truly, and I can only imagine all those years, 35 years
Yes.
as a veteran
Yeah.
cop here in LA, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
And
like
she did
how
25. Yeah.
right, like how that is a superpower when it comes to being able to see something at face value
Yeah.
and being able to go, I've got to be in solution with this then.
Yeah.
I have to be, right? I mean, that to not be in solution wasn't an option for you when you were in that role.
Right.
You couldn't sit back and just go, well, we'll just fucking let shit happen in front of my eyes. I'm
I
just
know
going to
it.
let it go. Yep, we'll let that
Yeah.
robbery happen. I'm going to let that
Exactly,
guy in that
yeah.
accident happen. And
Yeah.
you don't.
Which, by the way, like if we think about it from a chronic illness perspective, if your wife had a chronic illness, you wouldn't just let her go.
No, that's right.
Right?
That's why I look at it. That's why I haven't gotten angry with her, because I see a broken.
That she's not well.
She's not well.
Yes.
Because I know damn well if she was off this medication, she would work.
So
how do I go from being Mr. Wonderful, the best husband in the world, and she's my cherub, to, I want a divorce, and you should get protection, get a look.
So that leads me to a question I have, Cliff.
Please.
How, for you as the spouse who's going through this, how long did it take before you started to recognize that this actually could be from the psychiatric medication? Because I'm assuming there was a period of time where that wasn't there, and there was probably a lot of what am I doing wrong? Self-blame. Did I bring this on?
No,
Was that part of the picture?
Right away, I kind of right away, because I knew a little bit. When I learned something, I immersed myself in it. So I did a little research. So when she started like trying to pick fights, it seemed what happened? She goes, you're going to go with me to the Italian American Club and meet some people. So I meet a guy, and we play bocce ball every Friday. And I go, I love bocce. I'll play with you, And then he tells my wife, he's going to play with me. Oh, that's good. As soon as we leave the place, we walk out. Why are you lying to that guy? You're not going to play bocce. You play tennis. Why are you being a liar? I go, no, I played as a kid. I like bocce ball. No, you're lying. You never played it. That ain't right. So then she started touching me, and then oh, are you getting upset right now? Are you getting upset? I think she wanted a reaction at that time.
Making a fight. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. So that happened early on, you're saying?
Yeah, that was
really early on.
Like May, before she, I told you about the story, the party, how she came to the island in July and did all this. So I finally get an attorney, and my attorney goes, oh, that's interesting. She filed for divorce on May 16th. I guess she didn't want to serve you until after the party at the island.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. So when you go back 8 years, when you go back, how long did it take you to start to piece this together? Was she on medications for years and you were noticing things happening, but it didn't all click? And
I didn't, because she's always very vivacious and loud, and and I didn't notice any back then. It was all, it made sense to me. But lately, it's been lately. So we go to the bank on something, and then, wait, I think she's talking down to this bank lady in a real negative way, and I'm going to stay silent because I gotta support my wife. Maybe I'm not seeing it right. And then all of a sudden, the lady goes, "Listen, I'm not going to continue with this if you're going to talk to me that way. We're done." And then I realized, oh shit, I'm right. Yeah. So this kept happening with different things, like in the grocery store, or somebody. I know we're coming to the end, but somebody had opened the car door supposedly on our Honda. I didn't see any. A week later, we're at the grocery store, and she goes, "There's that guy's truck. Oh, if I see that motherfucker inside, I'm going to get in his fucking face." I go, "Hey, wait a minute. Oh, you don't have my back?" No, I got your back, but let's not confront a guy in the store. Right?
Not like that. Yeah, exactly.
That's not my wife talking, guys. She doesn't talk that way. She's, yeah. I don't know.
Well, I would imagine. I mean, her training in the sheriff's department would been non-confrontational. Like you're not going to start shit.
Against all the
exactly.
things you've learned.
Exactly.
Yeah, that you're actually conditioned to not do that, and so here you see the complete opposite coming out of somebody.
So I didn't see that until these signs came. Before that, 17 through 20 something. Although the impulsivity was, Cliff, we can never move to Florida because of the grandkids. I understand totally. Now we're vacationing here in 2020, then COVID happens. Oh, I was born in Cuba. That's communism. I can't go back to California. What? Well, we got to look for a place right now. And I go, wait. You're the one that wanted to move here, Cliff. Are you balking at this? Oh no, let's look for a place. And so we saw one place, put an offer in, and within 60 days we were in Florida. So,
Wow.
Of course, that's what I wanted, but
Yeah.
Oh, right,
It all went a
right.
little rapidly. It was
Went a
all
little
pretty
that's what I
quick.
thought. She goes, "Oh my
Yeah.
God, Cliff hesitated. This is what he wanted. I couldn't understand it."
Cliff,
Yeah.
did you go through times where you thought this was a you issue as the spouse? Like there
Yeah,
was something
sometimes I
you
thought I
needed?
could do more. Maybe I can do more, Yeah, but God, most of the time, I'm telling you guys, we had a
Yeah.
great marriage. We loved our life. So the impulsivity, she's like, let's go get a house because the beach. And then they're like, okay, no, you know what? How can we leave
Yeah.
this view? Okay. And so that would go back and forth. But then, we would hug it out and say, aren't we blessed to have
Yeah.
this place? Yes.
So
So
talk about like, but here's the thing that I think is like, here's the therapist coming out in me right
please,
now.
I need it.
It's like a little therapy session. No, but I think this is important. It was like, because a lot of times when we talk to a spouse of someone who has gone through this, they spend a significant amount of time blaming themselves. Like,
Mhm.
and they're years of going through like couples therapy and counseling and individual therapy. I've got to change something. I know something's going on with her, but it must be me. I have to change.
Or
And
I
so
can fix
or
this.
I
I
can
can
fix it. They
fix
take
it.
on this big like task, right? This burden that's theirs. And I mean, you said that there are some times where you felt this, but overall, it's like the detective part of you was, this doesn't add up. This doesn't add up.
Yes,
This
yes,
doesn't make sense. And you started to put timelines together, right? And then you started to research and then you started to see all these things. So it's like a
yes,
freaking, again, it's the superpower that saved you a little bit, I think, because most spouses spend a significant amount of time. There's an affair, they stay together. That spouse spends years going, I'm not lovable. She doesn't find me attractive. What am I doing wrong? That's like, and they can't see the other side of this, which is the psychiatric medication piece. And you found that pretty damn early because your reasoning kicked in. Your
yeah,
Mhm.
investigatory skills kicked in. It's like,
yeah,
no, this doesn't add up. This doesn't add up. It's not
yeah,
logical. And so I actually think that that's probably another superpower you've got going on here, because most people, they don't have the luxury of that.
yeah.
It's a
Thank
them
you. Yeah,
issue, you
Mhm.
know?
yeah,
And,
yeah. That's
you
true.
know,
It's yeah,
not to put a lot of stock in, yay, we figured it out.
yeah.
But truly, you can kind of sit in the idea of, I know where this is coming from.
Mhm.
No, I take a little
I do.
solace in that. And
Yeah.
as a matter of fact, when I was thinking, oh my God, I could travel more and everything. So my stepson, her son, is saying, Cliff, if one person changes, what good is that? If you're the one willing to do everything and she's not. I know, Shane, but I want this
Yeah.
marriage to work. I'm willing to do whatever we need to do. And you don't work 30 years this is the time you've worked to
Yes.
retire and enjoy life, not to start over at 68. And you
Right.
know,
Yes.
Yeah.
it's just devastating to me, and
Mhm.
yeah,
How does your comedy come into play here?
yeah. Well, I haven't been doing stand up since
Mhm.
2020. I've been doing the podcast and
Mhm.
writing and doing stuff like
Yeah.
that. And I play tennis and do things like that. But I did go to an improv class I started the other day, which was really the teacher was like, I mean, it was really like focus and awareness and being connected to with somebody when you're interacting that you can take out into the real world. And I felt like I really was gaining some tools from that session,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah,
I want to encourage you in all of this because it's easy to get lost in your spouse and trying to solve their
yes,
problem, their issue. I just want to encourage you to get back to you. And I
yeah,
think if anyone's listening and they have a spouse that's
yes,
going through this, making sure that you are focusing on yourself as a
Yeah.
whole human as well, because you can easily lose yourself in the wild ride and the sauce of all of this,
yeah,
right? So getting back into your humor because that is healing. Humor's healing.
It certainly is.
And you need to heal yourself too.
yeah, you're
You know,
right.
it's not all about her. It's also so much about you. So
Yeah.
So, Cliff, as we wrap up here, is there any last messages that you'd like to say to those listeners that have?
Well, just like in talking to you, for some reason, talking about it and sharing, but then, I don't want to burn out my friends. It does help, just to tell somebody this is actually going on. And so I think it's important. And if you find that marriage is destroyed by antidepressants, you realize the posts are they describing what just happened to me or my life? And you realize, oh my God, I'm not. There's thousands of people that are
in that
going
group
through this. I mean,
yes.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, we're kind of secondary. I hate to be victim of anything. I'm never the victim, but they're really the victims of this industry, the psychiatric industry. And I mean, we got to get involved. You have to get involved in this stuff. And I mean, I'm going to be the accidental activist now in this in this fight because it's tragic. It's an epidemic.
Mm-hmm. It is. We're here for you. So I think you had said, how do I get involved? And I'm like, well, you're in the right place to get involved here, Cliff. Your story is involved.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys.
Yes.
You guys are so courageous to do that and step. I mean, because I know you guys get piled on. The industry is not set up to be, you're going against the grain. Mm-hmm. And boy, and you both speak from experience of someone who's already been through that. And that's the voice that really carries the most weight.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Well, thank you for bringing your story. I know that it's much needed, especially this perspective. So thanks for answering the call. And if you've listened to us so far, please like, comment, subscribe, give us all 5 stars. If you don't do 5, don't do any. All right. So 5 only. And feel free to send us your Gaslit Truth stories at the Gaslit Truth Podcast at gmail.com.